So I stopped by Throttle Company, this awesome motorcycle dealership, Royal Enfield and Moto Guzzi, after Cars and Coffee today, and I'm here with Dylan, who's a good friend of mine. And Dylan posed kind of a challenge to me. He saw the paint on this car, and he's like, oh, it's strike anywhere red. Like, you could light a match off of it. Will it polish up? And I said, of course it'll polish up. And he goes, prove it. So he brought out some stuff here. We're going to do just in a little spot.
Yeah, this is my go-to. But mostly actually for scratches and swirls, like it says.
Yeah.
And then you suggested this.
Oh, I said Mother's Magnum Lumen Polish, just to get a base, like, smooth it out. Because look at how rough this is.
Yeah.
This is
not
like...
even necessarily that I said that. You said it was strike anywhere red.
That's true.
And then you said when you bought it from the guy, this was his dream color. And I said, really? Burgundy?
Oh, when this burgundy shines up, it is like...
Let's do it.
Okay. So...
You just, anywhere you...
Yeah, right there. Just right there. And just keep rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. Now, it should be a lacquer, and it should actually...
Well, I see some red coming out, so that's... That means at least we don't have clear coat.
There's no base coat, clear coat here.
It's actually kind of hot.
It is kind of hot. Actually, that would make it work better because it smooths out the...
Oh, I already know it's going to work.
Of course, look at it. You can start to see some sparkle come back.
It's going to be awesome.
Because it is a metallic paint color, too.
That's so funny. If we keep going, then we can't keep going because we'll
end up polishing the whole car.
Yeah. No, we need a little bit more than that.
Yeah. Oh, well, look at that.
But you can definitely tell what's going on there.
Look at how smooth
it's
that
so
is.
funny. This is like pure fog, and this is like actual.
Now there is something you can see here. When you get in real close, you can see some of these are not scratches. This is called lacquer crazing. Basically, the paint gets so brittle it starts to crack, and you can actually heat that up and restore it. Yeah, there's a chemical they used to have. They scratch out, where it would re-liquefy lacquers, and you could take out some of the light lacquer crazing.
And see, there's a product we used to use called Nexus that would do like your headlights and stuff. And it was good on like crazy, but on plastic. Do you think it'd be the same thing?
Oh yeah, well anything that plastic is an abrasive, because you're basically just polishing a top layer.
That's episode.
All right, so now you're adding the Meguiar's here, and which Meguiar's is number 9.
Yeah.
I use the 106 for cutting because it really.
Oh, I have that, and I thought about grabbing that, but I thought actually this is my favorite, like universal which kind of does everything.
Yeah. But really put your elbow into it, like really rub it.
Doing it. It kind of, and you know you're not supposed to do it in the sun. It kind of like evaporates as soon as I get there. Oh, did you hear that?
I do hear that.
A little squeak.
A lot of squeak there.
That's me squeaking.
Hit it with the dryer.
I'm so excited, man. I love this because you and I, you look at this and I'm sure...
Oh, we're paint geeks. Like, we love Metal Flake and all that crazy 70s stuff.
You see this like thing, and I think most people are parking and they kind of look at this with a side eye.
Oh, yeah.
You and I are like, oh, you don't know what's underneath this.
Right.
That is pretty good. I feel like the combination of those two actually made it, at least I feel like the potential's there.
Here's the most impressive part, okay? In here, you just see shadow, right? No reflection. You go over here, there's a reflection. You can see my finger in it. It is actually shining. Oh, look at that. Feels.
Yeah. It has that's when you know it started to get that like squeak, like we're through it.
Right.
But
now, could you imagine if we put wax on top of this?
I hear you, and it's got the flake to it, which I'm a big fan
you can
of.
see there's a little bit of metallic in there. There's a lot of lacquer crazing. You can see where the paint's kind of. But here, let me see that red for a second. Let me just get real tough with it. So I think the next challenge is to basically do the whole car, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny because I love cars and doing this kind of thing, but most of what we do is motorcycles, and motorcycles get carried away on a motorcycle. There's this much paint, and it's just a tank, and I have a drill that I use as attachment on this kind of thing, but it's a 20-minute thing rather than an all-day thing. Yeah,
motorcycle paint is also thin because it's such a small area. You can't lay it on thick.
Yeah.
Cars, you could lay this on like really thick, and actually, if you look in the trunk, there's still original paint in the trunk that's like shiny and stuff.
Really?
And it's pretty close to what this looks like here now.
Well, this is a success, at least in my mind, because
well, it proves that this old paint, you can bring it back. Sure, it has a million scratches in it and rust spots and all that stuff.
So what would you do? First of all, what are you going to do? You said your buddy who does paint, he's going to go...
Well, he does detailing.
And he's going to buff it all out. So you'll get it to this, and then it'll still have those scratches. Then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Oh, he and I will probably buff it out. Oh yeah, of course. We'll probably buff it out, and then I'll put a coat of like old school carnauba wax on it. And the reason why is I could ceramic coat it and have it like last shiny for 2 years.
Yeah.
But that's a terrible idea because if I start to do body work, I have to grind everything down, right? And I don't want to do that. So if I put an old school carnauba wax on it, it lasts for 2 weeks, and then I can reapply. And if I have to strip anything to do anything, it's just get some lacquer thinner out or get some acetone out and just take the wax right out of it. Yeah, look at that. Now it's really shiny. Look at how crazy that paint is getting.
I know.
Like that is, like you can see an actual reflection.
That looks like
here's my.
It looks like someone took care of it.
Well,
it looks like, but it's an old paint job. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. One of the first things I did when I first bought this car years ago is I polished the whole car as you saw it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I ran it that way.
How old were you?
I was 19 when I bought this car, and I'm 44 now. So
polishing a whole car is a young man's game.
By hand.
Yeah.
With rags, not any machines or anything.
That's
so.
They hadn't invented machines yet.
Well, you know, we had the dinosaurs that operated, you know, and
like the Flintstones.
Mr. McRock would come by, and you know, and the dishwasher would come out. It was a pterodactyl. Say it's a living.
Like a dinosaur tail to wag over the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's especially that last little bit I did.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be that much work. I mean, it's a lot of total area.
The car is what 16 feet long. You know, you could land an airplane on top of it.
It's gorgeous, and it's going to be. I agree with you. I just don't know if that's my dream color. Isn't there a red that's really nice?
There's a bright red.
Yeah.
There's regimental red.
Yeah.
That's nice, but that's resale red. It's cliche. I mean, I know you're in the bike business. You sell motorcycles. Yeah. Red to you is like, yeah, let's get it.
I don't know what bike sells better. The bikes that I love are green. For some reason, I just cannot stop. Like
I love green bikes.
Wanted to buy a green bike.
Yeah.
But it's something about a GTO. You know what it is? You remember that movie with Josh Hartnett? I call him Josh Heartthrob.
Yes.
But it was the Faculty.
Yes, I remember the Faculty.
He had a GTO.
Actually, he had a 71 Le Mans Sport convertible that was badged as a GTO.
Okay, well, you know more than I do, obviously, of course, about this, but I remember that, and I feel like it was red with black stripes.
It is red with black stripes, and it had Chevelle stripes, weirdly enough. It had Chevy stripes, not the usual GTO.
That was a good one, and I was like just out of high school when that came out.
Well, I'll tell you, it's funny. I was having this conversation with somebody earlier today about Gen X cars and bikes from the boomer era.
Okay.
Like why certain things seem to transgress. Like why are 68, 69 Dodge Chargers, 68, 69, 70 Dodge Chargers a thing with Gen X and millennials and Y and Zeners? It's because of the Fast and the Furious movies, right?
Oh yeah.
It's not because of Bullet. It's not because of Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry.
Nobody's seen those.
Yeah, I mean, I saw all those as a Gen Xer, but you know, we were stupid in the 90s. We watched all these old terrible movies thinking they were the greatest thing.
But you're watching it because you're into the history more than just like it's part of the culture.
Right. You know? And it used to be a thing to have to watch those too. Yeah. You had to go get a VHS tape from somebody at a swap meet because nobody else had the thing anywhere.
It's starting to sound like 8mm now.
I know, right? Isn't it creepy? But yeah, so the Chargers, Fast and the Furious movies.
Oh yeah.
The 67 GTO, the XXX movies. One of them has been in every one of those XXX movies, and there's always some guy at a gas station, at least, you know, from the time that those movies came out to now, at least a couple times a year, some 20-something kid will be like, you need to paint it flip-flop purple. Because that's the XXX color, right?
That's funny, but I guess they did a decent job.
Yeah.
It's funny because, I'm sure you remember this, but when Fast and Furious came out, it was kind of corny.
Oh, it was totally corny.
If you were actually into cars, you were like, this is like corporate cars. But then as time goes by, people sort of forget the corny part of it, and they're like, no, that's like the history of cars.
So can I tell you, like, this car's connection to Fast and Furious movies? I was driving this car regularly when the first Fast and the Furious came out, 2001, right? Mm-hmm. And at the time, I'm driving this. My buddy has a 67 Firebird. My other buddy has a 69 442. My other friend has a 68 Roadrunner. You know, we have like old school muscle cars.
You were living life 1/4 mile at a time?
No. No, because you know what? They closed all the tracks in New York, so it was annoying. But you know, we were all car guys, so we were all like consuming as much car culture as possible, and all of our car culture stuff was dated. It was stuff from the 70s and 80s, and it was terrible. Yep. And all of a sudden there's a movie in theaters that's about car culture, and my Bobby's brother Darren had gotten a Honda Civic, and he was starting to tune it, and another friend of ours had an Integra, and we were warming up to those cars. We weren't, you know, because we were young guys, we're like, any way you can make speed. So we all took our cars to see that movie on Main Street in Port Washington at the movie theater, and we parked up and down the street so it looked like a car show, including this GTO. And we watched the movie, and it was corny, but honestly, if you've seen anything from the 70s that's a car movie, it is all terrible. And we watched that movie, and we came out, and we're all revved up, and we get in our cars and line up, and each one of us does a massive peel out in front of the theater, leaving at midnight after the
over the railroad track.
Yeah, you know, when we jumped in, and then Brian gave us the keys to the Supra, and we took off. No, so we all do that, and I line this car up, and I set the line lock, and I load it up to 3,500, and I hit the button, and I mat it, and the thing launches in this big smoking, you know, burnout down the street, and everybody on the street is cheering.
Oh yeah.
And I felt like such a hero. And after that, I was like, I was like, the hook is set, you know. But that's why I get it. Like the Fast and the Furious movies are car culture, you know, and you have to find a way to appeal to every generation of car culture. You know, why are Norton Commandos popular with Gen Xers? My Own Private Idaho and Keanu Reeves. I saw that movie in theaters in the early 90s and was like, oh, you know, it's two broke kids riding a Norton Commando across the countryside.
Well, there is something interesting about sort of, you can't get them anymore, you discontinue them. Norton's out of business, Pontiac's now out of business. So maybe they're starting to get, oh, Pontiac, it's historic. There used to be a thing called Norton or Pontiac. Did you get one last shot of this? I felt like I put a little more elbow grease into it.
Oh wow, this is really shining up now. Look at that reflection.
It's crazy.
Now we can actually see color in the reflection.
I mean, you're right. Speaking of being crazy, is that it still does have this crazing scratchiness.
Patina.
But actually, if the whole car, and maybe this is what you and your buddy are going to do, but if the whole car was even to just this level, it'd be pretty cool. People would be like, oh, you've restored this.
No restored it. I've just kept taking care of it. I think the next step before I actually do this, though, is I'm going to go get a big bucket of Corosil and do like all the rust spots that are still actively rusting, so that'll turn them black. So it'll make, like, I'm not going to do that rust stuff that's on top of the fenders, right? But I am going to do like
the worry spots,
you know, so that they don't get worse.
Over here.
And that'll start to clean it up a little bit. And man, look at the reflection.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
It's extremely satisfying.
Now, you want to see something weird? If you go get some wax right now, I bet you half of that crazing will go away.
Really? You think it just kind of like micro
fills it in.
Yeah, okay.
Like if you have just like some old school Carnauba wax.
I don't have anything now.
Yeah, I know. Nobody does. That stuff is so old. Are you kidding me?
Wax guy.
You know, that's like wax from your ears kind of stuff.
I will work my way up through the system. Of like you said, started the coarsest stuff, cutting and all the way through up there, and then the last thing I do is this ceramic coat spray, and that's usually as far as I ever go. I don't wax.
So I'm gonna do it, and I'll bring it back, and then you and I can have another conversation like this.
It's gonna be awesome. All right,
it will be awesome.